welcome back from lunch. My name is Annet Steenbergen and I will be moderating / emceeing this session. And we have so many people we can't fill the chair. We have too many for the chairs, so we keep standing up. So the world of travel, the domain of travel needs verifiable credentials, but it needs verifiable credentials that can cross borders, cross jurisdictions, that can service for public and private stakeholders, public and private use cases. If you cross a border, you present to border authorities. If you apply for a visa, you will have to present to an embassy digitally. If you check into a hotel, you want to do that digitally. Of course, check into a flight, do that digitally. All these stakeholders all have to comply to rules and regulations, whether internationally, nationally, regional, even locally. That makes it into a complicated domain. Luckily, we do have one credential already, which is the ICAO Digital Travel Credential, which is one digital standard for our passport. So, and we have a very distinguished list of speakers you see in front of you. We have from ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, Carolan. We have from IATA, the aviation industry body, Youn. We have from VisitBenidorm and the LSP EWC, Leire Bilbao. From the Dutch government, Lisette, Louren, Jong. DigiYatra, India is represented. DigiYatra is a spin-off from Aadhaar. We have Siddharth Sharma. For sure, a provider's perspective, we have Maarten Boender. And from Sicpa, and again, EWC, we have the LSP, Laurent, Loup. So without further ado, we start with Ciaran. Is there another? Yes.
Thank you, Annet. So good afternoon, everybody. So as just said, all of you crossed borders, or not all of you, but many of you crossed borders when traveling internationally to come here for this event. And when you crossed those borders, you presented, most typically, a passport. And no matter what border you crossed, that passport was accepted as the attestation of your identity in the context of travel. So we have one single physical document defined internationally, that is the passport, that is globally accepted for the purposes of identity attestation in travel. And I think that's quite an achievement when we reflect on it. And this works because that passport is standardized and because it has legal foundations for the global use. I come from ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. That is the entity that's responsible for defining technically and from a regulatory perspective that passport. And we've been doing that since the 1960s to achieve the success that we have today in terms of international travel founded on that single physical document. Now let's turn to digital credentials. And the contention I make to you today is that it makes sense, I believe, to build on the foundations that we have with the physical passport. And that is exactly what we have done in ICAO with our global community to define the ICAO Digital Travel Credential. The ICAO Digital Travel Credential builds on the passport from a data perspective, from a technical framework perspective, and from a regulatory perspective. And I think this all works because it's founded upon state-led co-creation amongst all governments with the support of industry to arrive at the solution we have today. So that's the digital travel credential. In ICAO, we're also trying to broaden the support ecosystem for credential usage in travel. And the best example of that, I think, and I'm biased because it's the program I'm responsible for, is the ICAO Public Key Directory, the PKD. Within that, we are trying to share public keys to support verification of credentials more widely than ever before, particularly through sharing with the private sector. So if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about how we are leading to a more expanded use of digital travel credentials founded upon the success story of the passport, come and talk to me and join the deep dive sessions that we have tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Ciaran. Now, the aviation industry, Youn.
Thank you. So let's look at a traveler. Can you hear me? Okay. So airlines are very keen to improve traveler experience, and we believe that there is an opportunity in digital identity. Given that already various digital identity and travel credentials are implemented or under development across the globe, as we saw in the morning, what would travelers and airlines really want? So for travelers, they want to store digital passport and other travel credentials in a single digital identity wallet and use them whenever they travel. They want to control and manage their data, and they want to know which data they are sharing with whom for which purposes. For airlines, they want to leverage the trusted digital identity or travel credentials issued by governments because of the trust that they can leverage, they can ensure, but also because of the convenience for their customers and possibility of scaled adoption. With that in mind, IATA has been working with industry partners to develop the industry standards, One ID standards, that aim to achieve interoperability so that the travelers do not need to juggle with too many different identity credentials for the same information, and also airlines do not need to make multiple adjustments to their systems to accommodate different types of credentials. While industry is making these efforts, also we need government support in establishing the interoperability and also in providing a supporting trust framework that can enable open, flexible, and privacy-preserving ecosystems. Digital identity is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to transform traveler experience, and we need interoperability and open, flexible, and privacy-preserving ecosystems.
Thank you, Youn. Now we have Leire from VisitBenidorm, a hospitality example.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I am representing Benidorm. Benidorm is a destination in the Spanish coast in the Mediterranean Sea. We are a little destination. We have just 74,000 inhabitants, but we have more than 9,000 beds. We have 3 million of tourists last year, so we are used to manage tourism. And we have a pain, how we manage the hospitality check-in in Spain. All over Europe and also all over the world, each country has his way of managing it. In Spain, we have a new certification, the way to do it last year, a new law. And in this law, we should give a lot of data to the security of the country. And this is a trouble. This is a trouble for the hotel. This is a problem also for the guest experience, cost, time, and we need to solve it. And we have been trying to work with Sicpa in this project, trying to make easier the experience of the check-in in hotel industry. The thing is we need to make it easier for the clients, because at the end, in the travel world, we need to make easier everything for everybody. So my conclusion is, once you know what we have been working for years and with these numbers of clients on our destination, is that Sicpa and VisitBenidorm have been working in a solution to trust. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leire. Now the Dutch government, who have run a big pilot using the ICAO DTC.
Thank you, everybody. Happy to be here. My name is Lisette Looren Jong, and I represent the Dutch Ministry of Justice and Security. I'm here to speak about the pilot that we implemented last year at Schiphol Airport, representing both a government, several government departments, but also private partners like KLM, our national airline, and Schiphol Airport. From January till March, April 2024, we allowed Dutch, Canadian, and Belgian citizens on selected KLM flights from Canada to the Netherlands to derive their DTC on their mobile device and use it for travel, for border crossing purposes towards the Netherlands, and also for boarding from Montreal Airport. Whereas we learned a lot from the pilot, which I will get further into tomorrow during the workshop, I think the most important thing that we learned, that we proved with this pilot, is that it could actually, or that the DTC can be used to expedite the identity verification process, as it allowed us to do checks that we normally do when a person is in front of us at the border in advance whilst the plane was in the air. And it allowed us to process border checks more smoothly. It was a lot faster. Our average passenger processing is about 30 seconds, and with a DTC we managed an average speed of 10 seconds per passenger, so in that case it was a lot faster. Which therefore led us to believe that we want to extend our pilot starting next year to a significantly larger target group. As of next year, we will allow all EEA citizens that are traveling to and from Schiphol airports outside the Schengen area to derive the DTC, secure it, save it in a secure wallet, and use it for all flights that they would like to travel on for border crossing purposes at Schiphol Airport for the coming 3 years. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Siddharth Sharma now from the DigiYatra Foundation.
So we have been talking about verifiable credentials since morning, and here is a use case which is not a pilot. It has been a solution which is live in India for domestic travel for the last more than 2 years. We have enabled more than 60 million verifiable claims in this period, and the solution started from 3 airports, is live at 24 airports in India. 14 million people have downloaded the app, and all of this without zero PII in the system. So your face becomes your boarding pass. People love the solution. So I was told to share some learnings which we have in the last 2 years. It's very difficult to do that in 2 minutes, but I'll just try the top 3 ones. So this is a consent-first solution and privacy by design. So any digital ID solutions we are building, that has to be at the core. You cannot design a solution without that. And at the same time, you have to tell the consumer about it as well, because building a solution is one thing and explaining it to the consumer, playing around with the perceptions is the other one. So engaging with the civil bodies, educating the passengers, and focused campaigns is what we have been, other than the tech, which we have been very, very much focused upon. The other is all these solutions have to merge with the existing solutions in airports and any other ecosystem which you are building in. So airport ecosystem is very complex. People will vouch for it, and you have infinite stakeholders there. However, bringing them early on to the table, talking about the challenges which can come in, and also solving those technically with open source technologies and APIs is the way forward. And that is what worked for us as well, where we were able to integrate more than, so around 10 airlines, domestic airlines, more than 3 common use providers, and more than equal number of DCS providers. So they are all using the solution today. Privacy by design, again, coming back to that, that's core. And the solution is designed in a way there is zero storage, zero servers. There is no PII which is stored in the system. And the airport also deletes the data within 24 hours of the departure. So focus on the passenger smiles. We have 60 million smiles, and passengers will love the solution. So that VC or verifiable credentials are here to stay, and DigiYatra has proven that. Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth. Next is Maarten Boender from For Sure with an industry perspective.
Yeah, thank you. For sure, we're working hard at creating the division and the pilots and the production cases that are happening into a reality. And for this, I have a call to action for, as we're sitting here, is for the industry to come together and define like a minimal viable interop profile that we can start actually implementing and getting into production solutions that are interoperable globally. And for this, we need like 3 things. We need a trust infrastructure where we have global verification and governance of these digital trust registries, that we can verify the issuers, but very much so also the stakeholders, the relying parties, not just the border security, border authorities, but also hotels, other hospitality, car rental, and all these other relying parties that rely on these travel credentials to make things seamless. But we also need a global ecosystem compatibility. We have the different standards across US, Canada, Europe, Asia. We have the EU basically focusing on the SDJs, OpenID, but there's also India and Anocrats that have many implementations already. So we need to come to a kind of an interop profile that contains the global things. And the last part, of course, is the open standards. Fundamentally to this ecosystem is that we use open standards also for the ICAO DTC, but for the MDL, the OpenID Federation. Yeah, all these things need to be agreed upon so that we can start implementing and taking things to production globally.
Thank you, Maarten. Next up is Laurent Loup. He's from Sicpa, and they are a partner in the EU Digital Wallet Consortium who piloted the travel use case with the EU DI wallet.
Slide. Good afternoon. So we all experimented the sharing our attributes, the passport attributes in the travel to hotels, to airlines, and also for opening bank accounts. So in many different use cases, we need to share our attributes for regulatory purposes. And one of the issues is that currently we need to scan the MRZ, we need to open the chip, get all the information, we don't know where the chip are, etc. So the user experience is not so great for serving the industry purposes. And there is one reason, because the passport currently is serving the border authorities. That's really done for that. For example, the DTC is also providing very step forwards to support all the pre-travel assessments for border authorities. However, currently it's not providing the feature for the data minimization for the industry. So now there must be a way to get a credential and use all the attributes that are part of the whole framework provided by ICAO folks and all the PKD to actually serve as well the industry at the same time and to facilitate both the user experience and also the adoption by relying party like from the industry part. So the good news is that we have one standard currently that is under final draft by ISO. That is called the photo ID concept, where basically there is the upper part you can see here that is containing all the data groups provided in the ICAO chip for serving all the needs from the border authorities, so typically the type 1 and the pre-travel assessment and e-gates in proximity, and also all the attributes that can be shared with the industry for data minimization. So we have tested this within EWC with real transaction already. It works. We have done some very good interop tests in the ISO test events with many different wallets across the world. Also, we had very good results. Now what we need is governance, country adopting this. So we invite you tomorrow for our 2 sessions on that topic. And let's sit together and make it happen.
Thank you, Laurent. Well, no cowbell needed, for this one at least. Like Laurent says, as you just heard, we need countries, industries, industry bodies, intergovernmental organizations to come together to come to standards. So please join us for 2 deep dive sessions, one on policy at noon in this very room, and the other one at 2 p.m., more on the technical side. So you're all very much invited, and we hope to see you then. And thank you to all the participants here, representatives who've really held on their timing. Thank you so much.